What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another F124 My Team Career Mode video. Today, round 11 around Monza. That's right, we're in Italy for, well, the second video of this week. I'm very proud of myself for doing this, by the way, but we do have to catch up and finish season 2 of this career mode before F125 comes out, and everyone knows I will be saying F124 at the start of my videos, even though it'll be F125. But here we go. In Q1, run down into turn 1. I'm staying on the right because it's a little bit flatter and less bumpy, which kind of helps with your pace. It's very minor, but I just thought, why not? An esports driver said it. I might as well do what they say because they know more than me. But a pretty tidy turn 1, turn 2. Nothing spectacular. And Carlos Sainz going top with a 1:19.4. Pretty clean chicane there. A little bit slow maybe in the entry and mid part of the chicane, but otherwise pretty good. Massive wobbles all throughout that first part of these double right-hander. But overall, a pretty tidy lap. I wouldn't say there's anything major, just a couple of minor bits here and there that could be improved upon. Now through Ascari. That's how you say I was concentrating on Tsunoda's lap time of a 1:19.3. It looks like 1:19 is going to be the benchmark for us to kind of get through into Q2. Keeping some battery for the run up to the line, but here we go, braking around the 50-meter board. Try and tip it into the apex and then put the power down as fast as you can. And then just try and straighten the wheel and let the car go straight to the line of 1:19.086 for us, which does put us on the top there for Q1. So hopefully we can replicate a bit of that in Q2. I'm trying to save a set of softs for the race. I always do it, even though it's not necessarily the thing to do. But we're going to do it anyway. So I think this is a run on old tyres for Q2. We'll see if we get any better through here. A nice turn 1, mounted the curb nicely, but a little bit deep in turn 2. Good traction, a little bit of wheel spin coming out of that first chicane, and then just trying to stay as close to the right as possible, really shorten the distance to the next braking zone, which is just there. Tip the car in, mount the curbs a little bit, and then let the car run out a little bit so you're not on the bouncy part of the curb. Again, another tip from an esports driver, and a much tidier first part to this double right-hander as well. It's all coming up Millhouse right now, and yeah, it's looking like another pretty good lap. So if we can hit around the same time as we did in Q1, we'll be very happy, considering we're on used soft tyres, the ones we used in Q1. Another good kind of path forged through the Ascari chicane there, and Oscar Piastri, a 1:19.046, takes the top spot so far. Let's see where we end up. Lance Stroll going 1:18, another 1:18 from Carlos Sainz. We've really got to see where we can get to. Norris with a 1:18.6, we're at 1:19.1. Down in 6th place, but thankfully it was enough to get us through to Q3. And yeah, the lap times did really come out from the AI there in Q2. That made me a little bit frightened for Q3, if I'm all honest with you. But let's see how we get on with our lap in Q3. Nice apex there, not too deep. Staying off the curb on the right hand side on exit, because when you're trying to get the traction, you don't want anything. You want full contact with the road, essentially. You don't want to be dealing with bumps or anything like that under your rear wheels. Words are hard today. A lovely chicane there. The second part was beautifully mounted. Maybe unsettled the car slightly, but actually, yeah, was perfectly fine under traction. So pleasantly surprised by that. Missed the apex slightly just there before opening up the DRS to ride down here under the bridge and towards probably my favorite chicane in the whole F1 games. We just keep it inside track limits there and just absolutely flooring it. It is all or nothing here. I mean, we still have a spare pair of new boots, so to speak, so we can easily get back to the garage after this lap if we do bottle it, as we almost do there. The back end really not happy with us, but we put down some decent corners there, and that does take us to the top at the first part of Q3. But where do we sit on the starting grid. We're on pole, we got it, a 1:18.1 for us. Carlos Sainz with P2, just a 10th back. I mean, the time difference between Q1 and Q3 is insane. Perez in third, Stroll fourth, Piastri, Gasly, Norris, our teammate Leclerc in P8, Verstappen, and then Magnussen in the top 10. Tsunoda and Hamilton, P11, P12, then Albon, Russell, Alonso, Nico Hülkenberg, Teo Pourchaire, Daniel Ricciardo, Esteban Ocon, Logan Sargent, and for the wooden spoon we have Zhou Guanyu and Dennis Hauger. But the time difference between Q1 and Q3's fastest was just insane.
Right, mate, I know it's hot in that cockpit, believe me, but your tyres are even hotter than that. You've got to work really hard today to keep them cool, otherwise we're going to suffer with our performance.
Yes, I think we all understand how temperature works. I feel like I've got like a horrible grudge against the race engineer. I don't know. I think sometimes he's way too enthusiastic, sometimes he's really not, but it looks like we're going to stick with a medium-hard strategy, which is the AI strat around here. So all the lights are on. Now they're out as we go racing here in Monza, and it's a lot of wheel spin off the line for us. Carlos Sainz, absolute launch. There's nothing stopping that Ferrari from getting in front of us there, even if we had a decent start. But we're going to send it around the outside of turn 1. That turns to the inside for turn 2. Carlos Sainz has the momentum and the rubbered-in racing line. And it's the two Aston Martins of Lance Stroll and Pierre Gasly, our former teammate. I hope he's not holding any grudges, because he could easily just chuck one down the inside and ruin our race and championship hopes. But we've got to hope that Charles Leclerc can really make some progress. He starts in a good position in P8, and we're holding on well to the back of Sainz, although he is starting to get away slightly. We're trying to get used to the car on full fuel, all the weight distribution and everything like that you don't feel when you're running minimum fuel. But so far so good. We just want to stay with him, use the DRS and just chill out a bit, potentially hold up some of the guys behind us, and if we can get ahead of Sainz, then we can hold him up too, and that might help Charles Leclerc make some overtakes, and that will only help us really. I mean, look at the speed we've got on Carlos Sainz once we turn on the battery. We're looking to the outside again, giving him plenty of room on the apex. Try and squeeze him out a little bit at the end as well, for good measure, and he does back out of it, or perhaps we had our tyres up to temperature at that point, which made it just a bit of a more even fight, let's say, under traction. But Carlos Sainz now looking to the outside of the long right-hander to finish the lap. Nothing doing there, but he is very close. But you can just see how much I'm trying to hold them up. Leclerc's up to P5, by the way, if you look in the top right, top left, other way around. But yeah, he's got the fastest lap just now, because I've been holding everybody up and really just trying to keep the pack nice and tight, just so that Leclerc doesn't get dropped by anybody. I was very, very team focused. You'll see me looking behind a lot in this race. Like every few seconds I'm looking over my shoulder. There I am again. Looks like Leclerc's going for a move on Pierre Gasly to take the last step on the podium at this point. And Carlos Sainz looking to the inside, but there's nothing doing for him there. We actually lock up a little bit, go very deep and damage the floor, which is very crucial. But it's not the worst damage in the world to get around Monza. There's just not, I mean, it's 0-0 wings basically. You really don't need much downforce here, so damaging the floor is not the worst thing in the world, but it could be better. Carlos Sainz sending it down the inside of turn 1 yet again. We're going to say, no, Carlos, not today. And Leclerc is in P3 right now. This is perfect for our Constructor Championship hopes. We're on lap 9 of 19, and there's a lot more to go. I'll tell you that now. There is a lot more to go, but we're doing our part. We're trying to help out Leclerc as much as possible. I also don't want to hinder him, so I'm tempted at this point to ditch Carlos Sainz to try and pull out of his DRS, so that hopefully Leclerc and Sainz can just duke it out for P2. And fingers crossed, Leclerc ends up beating Sainz. But his old teammates, Ferrari, teammates of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, potentially going to come to blows here,
Okay, pit in this lap.
all in the name of the Constructors' Championship.
If we exceed it, keep that in mind.
Now we are hitting around the time when we should be boxing. I almost thought about staying out, but look at that wobble we had. That was a crazy save, and Carlos Sainz actually had to take avoiding action there as Charles Leclerc carries on for another lap. And now I see the perfect opportunity. Now, when I say the perfect opportunity, Charles Leclerc now leads this race, right? I have Carlos Sainz, who is the closest person to the lead besides me, right? He was in P2. He's the closest person to winning at that moment, and he's the only person ahead of Leclerc that isn't me. I can be a bit slow on the hards, hold up Sainz, hopefully, by doing some of this, bit of side-by-side in turn 1, turn 2. Does Carlos Sainz have the traction? Yes, he does. My tyres are stone cold, being that they have just come out of the hards. There's yellow flags out in sector 1. Looks like the Red Bull pulling over to one side. We'll find out who that is in a moment. It's Yuki Tsunoda. You heard it here first, folks. Yuki Tsunoda retiring halfway through the race of Monza. Just, if that actually happens this season, you heard it here first. But all I'm trying to do now is hold up Sainz a little bit so that Charles Leclerc can come out ahead. I can then hopefully outpace my teammate, catch up to him, and we can do the whole thing that we did, I believe it was Silverstone, when I basically just backed him, helped him defend, and then, yeah, we took home some good points that day. Now rounding the final corner, safety car's been deployed. That has thrown an absolute spanner in the works, and there's a little bit of panic starting to set in, and this kind of proves it. We've been on these tyres for a lap, and I've gone to pit for the mediums. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was in the pit lane before I thought about it a second time. But Charles Leclerc now leads this race, I believe. I think I can see his dot at the very front of the train. The safety car didn't catch them, as we have a slow stop with the left front. But Charles Leclerc leads this race. We've got a safety car, and the safety car didn't pick up the leader. So the safety car is still at the end of turn 1, turn 2. But we skipped all of that because the safety car's in this lap, and there's a whole lot of video of stuff to go. So the title said last a question mark. This is what we're doing. After the safety car, we've got 7 laps, including this one, to get past 20 cars. We're already past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, dare I say? Side by side with tailport chair. Room was given. I am not upset about that. Lots of wheel spin, but I think the mediums are going to win out over the hards, and they do. And yeah, there's going to be so much action in the next few minutes. Make sure you stick around. But yeah, P16 is where we stand at the minute. 6 laps left. Lewis Hamilton just ahead of us. It's a mixed grid, so there might be some gaps in the train forming. There might also be some fast cars that just stop us getting through. So we're going to find out now. We're going to go for a massive dive bomb on the 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton in his Mercedes, and that is job done. Nice and easy. We've got to use these mediums. We've got to make moves every single lap, every single sector. We've got to do it. Just finding out from Mark. They're in second. So Leclerc's in P2, and he's 6 seconds up the road. Kind of shows you the current gap of where we are now. But again, we've got to get through some traffic first. There's a lot of traffic. You know, I'm 15th. There's 3/4 of the grid in between me and my teammate, essentially. We're going to go to the outside of Dennis Hauger. He takes a bit of a crazy avoiding action. Purple, sector 2 for us on this lap. It's a nice move, according to Mark. I was pretty okay with it. I think Hauger made an absolute meal of getting out of the way, but it is what it is. Right up the gearbox of Nico Hulkenberg, however. And with the DRS, with a bit of ERS, I think we can make this move work as we're on the run down to turn 1. But you can even see, look at this slipstream. We're going to go very aggressive to the inside. Hulkenberg defending, but not hard enough as we hit Ricciardo in turn 1. We didn't want to go that far, but a lockup just sent us straight. And somehow, we didn't get any damage from that, and no warning either. So, we must have done something right. I think it was just yeah, I was out of control, but the steward said it was okay, so I'm not going to complain. If you no longer go for a gap that exists, then you're no longer a racing driver. There you go. Wise words. We now look to do the same thing to Magnussen and Alonso, but Alonso doesn't have the DRS. So Magnussen's going to go on the attack of the McLaren and make it pass. We're going to go to the outside of the McLaren. Can we make it work around the outside of turn 1 like we've done a few times today? Can we do it? Can we get the traction? Yes, we can. Alonso losing out to another position. We're now P11 with 3 laps to go after this one. Still on lap 16. Magnussen's going defensive into Ascari. Very, very, again, panicky, I think. Some of the drivers, when you get on the outside or the inside, depending on where it is, the AI just freak out sometimes. They just automatically steer in the other direction. I don't know why. I guess it's something to do with their pathing and their awareness, but I'm not sure. But anyway, P10 it is. We've got a point to our name. You can see there's a massive gap out front. And there's Leclerc and then a Ferrari. I'm going to assume that's Leclerc and Sainz, maybe? But maybe not. I don't know. I can't tell because I don't have any information on the mini-map there to tell you. Or on my top left timing board. But we've now sort of caught up to this mini train that actually runs, I think, to P2. But I'm not sure. Our mediums are going to start to go off relative to the hards. So we've really got to make these moves quickly. 19% batteries we've been using the whole time. I was so tempted to go for a dive there, but we didn't. We had to survive another day. We've got to make these moves smart. We can't just take ourselves out. We still have a Drivers' Championship to think about. And right now, this has been a champion's drive to finish out this race. But there's still a few laps to go. And all the work still to do. There seems to be a lot of battling going up ahead. You could see the Red Bull of Verstappen just peeking out a little bit. Maybe having a little bit of a look at Oscar Piastri in the McLaren, who's in P7 right now. And I'm gonna leave on hot lap. I'm gonna look to the outside of George Russell. I don't expect anything to come off, but we try not to hit the rear of Verstappen. And thankfully we didn't. But we didn't take the position from Russell, but we live to fight another day, and that day might be now. And what is going up ahead? There is 3 cars, 4 cars wide. Verstappen's going for a move to the inside. We're going to the outside of Russell. I'm taking it easy. I don't know what's going on up here. 3 wide was it, I think, in turn 1. A little bit of contact with the Mercedes to our right. And again, a bit of wheel banging as we spin up the rear tyres and kind of lose a bit of grip under traction. But all in all, a pretty decent start. We're going to look to dive down the inside of Oscar Piastri and try not to hit the rear end of that Red Bull up ahead. Got Verstappen, Gasly, 2 Ferraris, and I'm assuming Lance Stroll up here as well. For us, 1.5 laps to go, 24% battery. Let me know in the comments, where do you think this is going to finish? Let me know. Obviously I know, but you guys won't know. We're going to find out. We've got a lot of work to do. I'm pretty sure it's pretty much uncut till the end. It might be. I think it is. Verstappen maybe looking for a move on Pierre Gasly into the final corner, but he's going to stick just behind, wait for the DRS, which is a very smart move from the reigning world champ. And now we're going to go. I think we're going to turn on our battery, go to the inside of Verstappen. Verstappen also goes to the inside. That leaves us in a very tricky spot, so we're going to go back to the outside on the racing line. 3 wide into turn 1. Gasly and Verstappen a very, very tight turn 2 for us, but we make it stick, and under traction, we've got the job done, and even gapped them by almost a second. So, insane scenes there, but this is the final lap. There's massive battling going on up ahead between Lance Stroll, Sergio Perez, and Carlos Sainz. Now there's 4 cars in this battle. Looks like Lando Norris is going after my teammate a little bit for P1, P2, but I don't think he's got enough track to do anything about it, and we don't have much track left to do anything about our position either. There's only a few corners left in this race. We're really looking aggressive, thinking about going down the inside of Lance Stroll there, but just not enough speed, not enough of a braking zone either to make anything work. 11% on battery. What are we thinking about here? What can we do? Can we beat him on the run up to the line? Let's find out. Into the final corner. Spot your braking point. Did really well here to just keep the left tyres on the track. Down the inside of Lance Stroll to the line.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
We managed to beat Stroll to the line. Just. That was almost a photo finish. Daniel Ricciardo takes driver of the day. But what an end to a race.
Charles Leclerc, what a drive, what a victory. He wins.
A great victory for them today, Crofty, and you know, it gets to this part of the championship, you're getting tired, you're feeling the fatigue of a long season. Not many races to go now though, and if you can keep this kind of performance up, it's going to serve you well through to the end of this year.
Indeed it will, and yeah, great points for the team. Very happy with Leclerc at the minute.
Here comes your top three making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula One.
Yeah, no, great race. Ferrari 2-3, which I'm not a massive fan about in terms of the points. I think they beat us by 1 point team for team. But yeah, really can't complain about the race. Beside my absolute blunder of a strategy call that decided to throw us to the back on mediums when the hards were like 1 lap old. It was not my best decision. We probably could have gotten a 1-2 out of this race if it wasn't for that blunder.
After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
Indeed, and let's just run through everything that happened for this finishing order. Charles Leclerc on P1 with a fastest lap as well, so that might nullify the whole Ferrari team battle. But then we've got Norris, Sainz, Perez, ourselves in P5, Lance Stroll, Pierre Gasly, Piastri, Russell, Verstappen, Ricciardo, Alonso, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Hamilton, Hauger, Ocon, Zhou Guanyu, Logan Sargent, Alex Albon, Teo Porcher, and Yuki Tsunoda with the DNF. I somehow managed to remember all of that. 1-2 in the drivers. Fantastic for our team, but all the points that Leclerc got weren't for our team. They were also for Ferrari. That is also reaping the benefits up there in P1. So we've got a little bit of a way to go. We do have to stay on top, but hopefully if we can keep getting Leclerc to perform as he did in this race weekend, I'm sure we can do it. I'm sure we can get the constructors. We've got 5 races left, I think, but the highlights of this race are here for you now. So we've got a few races left this season. I think we can do it. We basically need like 8 points over them a race, which between drivers is 4. That doesn't necessarily account for DNFs or anything like that. We basically need to outscore them by an average of 8 points a race, which is not too bad. It's not great either. Just not, yeah. We'll see. It's still on the cards, for sure. It's absolutely still on the cards. I think the team, if the team get a 1-2 and fastest lap, I think it's 47 points in one race. So when you think about 8 points, it's, you know, it's not a lot in that sense. But again, over 3, 4, I'm not sure what the gap is, but yeah, I'm sure we can do it. But you let me know in the comments where you think we're going to finish in this championship. I'm pretty confident with the drivers. It's more the constructors at this point, but we're going to have to find out as we go through. And if you do want to find out, make sure you subscribe. There was a little reminder through the video. And to be honest, I can't be asked talking about people subscribing because, yeah, you guys do what you want. If you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. You don't need me to remind you. You know how YouTube works. But that's it. Let me know what you guys think. I really enjoyed it. But I'll catch you all next week for probably another double dose. Depends if I'm watching the Miami Grand Prix this weekend fully or if I'm going outside and touching grass. But yeah, we'll find out. But I'll see you guys next week for the next race.